Okay. Okay, this is our third show of Okay by Kurt Davidsen. Okay?
Okay. That's the name of the show. Okay.
We got the right answer.
Okay.
Today we have Carmine Mandia.
Correct.
Carmine is a great music man here in Vegas.
Thank you.
And as a matter of fact, I want to tell you something interesting. I'm going to talk a little.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you remember.
I have a feeling you're going to talk a lot.
I am. But mostly you.
No, I want to hear your interest.
What I wanted to tell was about September 2010. You were playing with what's his name, Ed Matthews.
Yes.
However, you were supposed to be in the showroom at Suncoast.
Okay.
But they were fixing it up, so they brought it down to a casino on Flamingo across the street from I can't remember the name of it. It's a station casino.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
There you were performing, and Rita, myself, and my brother.
Okay.
I had a brother coming in from Denmark, and the three of us was there seeing you at the show.
Okay.
Afterwards, we started talking to you.
All right.
And you were very good.
Thank you.
Talking to my brother, because my brother speaks English, but not that good.
Okay.
Not that good. But you talked to him, and you talked to Rita, and you talked to me, and we had only been here at that particular time.
Town that long.
We just bought this house here.
All right.
On September 1st, and it was a few days later, and I was very impressed the way that you spoke to my brother, because he, with his broken English, and everything, and I'm saying, oh wow, this guy is communicating with my brother, that's fantastic, and I was very impressed with you.
Well, that's it, Kurt. It's the audience is what it's all about. It's not about me. It's about you.
Yeah.
And that's being courteous to people.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was to your brother, is something that basically comes natural with me because of my upbringing with my mother and father.
Yeah.
Because my mother and father were like that, So that's the way I am.
Yeah.
So to be courteous to someone is something that we all should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was impressed in it. So we look for you everywhere.
Thank you.
Look for Carmine
That's very
Mandia. And I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, you invited us to your house.
Oh yes.
Was it New Year's Eve?
I think it was New Year's or it was a holiday.
No, it was a holiday. I think it was New Year's.
And that was nice. We had dinner
that was
and
nice.
everything.
We had a good time.
Yeah. And it was really nice having you guys there. And we were just talking to your wife, Rita.
Oh yeah.
I was just talking to her about that day. Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. It's funny you should say 2010.
Yeah.
I started singing in 2004, so I had 6 years under my belt when you guys saw me in 2010. So, because I just started singing in 2004, because I'm a hairdresser.
Yeah, I know you're a hairdresser.
And when I moved out here in 2004, I came out here as a hairdresser just for the weather.
Yeah.
And what happened was I went to the Bootlegger.
Yeah.
And I sang karaoke there at the Bootlegger. It was Kelly Clinton's. It was called Celebrity Night or whatever. And that's where a gentleman by the name of Sandy Hackett put me in a show called The Rat Pack, and that's how I started singing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how it started.
Yeah, so when you saw me in 2010, I had 6 years experience.
Well, you were playing with your own band. You weren't doing the Rat Pack at that. You were
I was not with the Rat Pack.
Band, and you were entertaining. But you were the guest. You were the guest host.
Yes.
And you had your own. Maybe you brought in some singers. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but it was some kind of theme we were doing that day.
We were very annoyed, the three of us, because of the seating. They set us in a place where it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you were on stage up there anyway, so it was not. But it was just uncomfortable for us to sit on those chairs.
Yeah, because like you said, the Suncoast was being refurbished, and so they moved us over there, so it was a little very disorganized.
Now, remember the casino? I don't. I can't remember it.
The casino, I don't know. It was one. I believe it wasn't Station. I think it was one of Boyd's.
Oh no, it was one of Boyd's.
Yeah, Boyd's.
It wasn't a station. It was a Boyd.
I don't remember which one it was.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. And every time I drive by it, because we used to go there afterward, and because we liked their buffet.
Yes.
But that was our introduction.
Yeah, I don't remember
to buffets.
Which one was, but they have like 5 or so out here.
Yeah, they do. They have to. The Suncoast is theirs.
Was it Sam's Town, maybe?
No, it wasn't that far out. No, it was down on Flamingo.
Okay.
Flamingo, across the street from the Palms. If I could just remember the name.
Wow.
But anyway.
Golden Nugget.
No.
Not the Golden
No.
Nugget.
There's a voice from heaven.
Yes. Yeah. No. Anyway, so you just said that you started singing in 2004.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was 59.
You started to sing at 59?
Yeah. You could teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I always like, I love music.
Yeah.
Sinatra, is my mentor basically.
Yeah.
I listened to so much Sinatra, and all I knew was Sinatra when I came out here.
Yeah.
And I got lucky because of being in the Rat Pack, I played Sinatra, and that was the only music I knew.
Yeah.
I knew about 10 songs, but that really knew them, and I just got lucky. And but I always loved singing. My family was very musical, and my uncles were very musical. But I never got into music when I lived back east in Philadelphia.
Oh, you're in Philadelphia?
Yeah, Philly.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was close to New York when we were talking before about what you were involved in. The garment business.
Yes,
I used to be in New York all the time.
Well, Philadelphia had some of the biggest garment people in the whole country.
Oh yeah.
And the riches, and also they had what's his name? He wrote the music to South Pacific. The words. Hammerstein, Oscar Hammerstein.
It's from
He lived in Philadelphia.
I didn't know that.
And he lived in where all the garment people lived.
I didn't.
He lived
know
among
that.
them. Yes, I had an employee years ago, and when he heard about my son, playing.
Who's a great musician.
My son. Yes, he
just great.
Did you see he just won? Best of Las Vegas.
Good, yeah.
Piano,
I didn't see it, but
piano bar, and also he won #2 in Lowndes. He couldn't beat Zoe Bowie.
Yeah, Zoe Bowie.
You can't.
But that's fabulous. He came in second.
Yes, he came in second.
Wow.
He got silver medal there.
That's terrific.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah. Well, he's a very talented young man.
Oh, I know that. But anyway, when I told my employee that my son, he's only 6 or 7 years old and he's playing piano, so the guy said, oh, I live right next to Oscar Hammerstein, the second or something like it. And he started telling me great stories about the man. Seemed to be a very pleasant individual.
Wow, I never knew that. So he is from that area?
Yes. He lived where all the rich garment people lived in Philadelphia. There were 2 people. There was one guy I know. He owned a company called Jones of New York, and I can't remember his name.
Did you ever hear of a company called 3Gs?
No.
Okay. They were one of the biggest men's clothing store out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
But as I was telling the producer, Joey Nunzio, a little earlier, that I put a lot of clothes I bought fell off a truck.
Okay, yeah.
From South Florida.
Everybody who lives in New York, and everybody, I could tell you a long story about something that Rita and I bought in our first year of marriage, which fell off a truck.
Okay.
We refurbished our entire apartment with everything we needed, from television sets to refrigerators, dishwashers, you name it. We bought it and it fell off the truck. So I know how it is.
Well, talking about that, it was back in the day. I don't forget what year it was, but I was like about maybe 14 years old. My father used to take me to get a haircut at this place called Frankie Hollywood. It was his nickname, great barber. But they always would have, they would say, Carm, you need a suit. I would say, yeah, let me go. So I would go down, we go down the stairs, right? We go downstairs. He says, take your choice. Every suit was the same. It was all, I'll never forget that there was 100 gray sharkskin suits, same color. Yeah, so.
Or sometimes same size, right?
It was all the same, yeah, exactly. You had to be lucky.
Yeah.
You know, you had two sizes, maybe. Yeah, that's funny.
I see, when I think about that, when I was selling on Saturday in the company that I work for, a woman would come in and I would look at her and say, oh, you're a size 8. Oh no, I'm a size 6. So I said, okay. So she says, I like to have this coat. So I would go in the back and we didn't have a size 8. So I took the size 6 and put it on, and I brought in the garment.
Fits perfect.
I fit perfect. And I'm standing laughing, you know.
That's
so many. I did it so many times, even with men. You know, I mean, why would people say, "Oh no, I'm only a size 8," if they really are a size 6 or 10? You know, but they do. It was lots of fun. I had a lot of enjoyment with that. But what was the best part was the money I made.
Yeah, well, that always remember the cartoon. Remember Popeye, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Popeye.
Yeah.
Well, Olive Oil was his lady friend, and she would go in and buy a pair of shoes in the cartoon, and the salesperson would come up to her and say, what size do you wear? And she would say, I wear a size 6, but 11 feels so good.
I never said that one.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. But anyway, so you came from Philadelphia and you did not sing in Philadelphia.
No, I'm a hairdresser. So
you were a hairdresser.
I did hair all my life.
So then you came here and you got into
and I got blessed and started singing, which I always loved to sing. And I, like everybody, we all started singing in the bathroom, holding a brush in my hand, you know. And but I came out here and I got some work, and I've been singing. I've been very, very blessed.
You said earlier you came here for the weather.
I came for the weather basically because it was so cold in Philadelphia. I had enough of it.
I'm from New York. I know. I know what it is. Cold and snow. Oh God. Yeah. It was actually our reason too.
Well, New York, I mean, there's nothing, New York's a great city, you know, because like I said, I was like an hour and a half away from New York, from Philly to New York, and New York was the major place to go. It was all the, you know, for clothes, for entertainment, you know. You gotta make sure your pocket's ringing.
I get these. I forgot to take the phone out of my pocket.
Well, we'll edit it.
No, that's okay.
I think you should leave it in. It's funny.
I know I should go inside and take it, but I forgot to do that. You know, and I get these dumb phone calls from New York.
Oh, really?
And I don't.
Still from New York?
I'm looking at no, I don't even know the people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's 10. It's you know, a year from now, it's 10 years ago we left New York. So,
I love your phone.
Yeah. Well, I love this phone too. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I hate when I go into a restaurant and a couple comes with a child, 17, 16 years old. They sit down at the table. The first thing they do is to take out their phones and they start looking at it. They don't talk to each other. They eat together, but they're constantly on the phone. And I think that is terrible.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I have to agree with you with that.
The reason for why I'm having this phone is when Rita got one of those smartphones, and Kenny got a smartphone.
Yeah.
But before that, I was sitting at my computer, and I get an invitation to Facebook. Mm-hmm. And they said, you know, I can go on this invitation, and I can look at Facebook for about an hour, for 60 minutes, and then after that, it will cut off. I went into Facebook.
Okay.
And the first thing I found was this man who was telling that he just came out from the bathroom where he took a dump. I can tell you, I said, what?
That would be the first time in America I ever heard a guy say, took a dump on video.
Yes, yes, that's what he said. That's what he said.
Oh,
and there was some other stuff in the same area. I was on for maybe 12 minutes, and I turned it off. And I said, no, thank you. You know. And Kenny and Rita got a phone like that, and I said, no way, no way.
Yeah.
I love my phone the way I have it, and that's good for me.
Well, once you have it with you when you need it, it's there.
I have it in my pocket, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, I got a phone call. You know, whenever I have it all the time in my pocket, you know. So I think that's much better.
Well, you know, talking to you, your wife Rita's a great singer. I love the way she sings.
That.
Beautiful singer. So your family's so talented with your son.
Except me.
Well, no. You were a salesman, big time. We were talking about that before in the garment industry. You know what I mean? You were big.
Very, very.
Yeah.
No, actually, I was.
I know.
I was. I sold for billions.
So that's your talent.
Billions of dollars a year.
That's your talent.
Yeah. No, that was my, but I'm not doing anything here, you know.
You're relaxing, you're interviewing.
I'm relaxing. Yes, we just started that, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you said, you started your own band, though. You have your own band.
Well, what happened was again, from the Rat Pack show, I was fortunate enough to get hooked up with a gentleman by the name of Billy Stevenson, who is one of the finest piano players in this town, and he was a cousin to Bob Anderson, who's a very famous.
I know.
And they were cousins. And what happened was, I got hooked up with the band. They asked me to sing with the band, okay? And we had a gig at a place called Joey Bistro. And I was very green, and Billy Stevenson was like one of the best. And he knew how to play for me. The way he played piano, he played what they say in the business. He played the horn hits on the piano. And because I only knew the record at the time. So I matured with him, and he taught me a lot. His name was Billy Stevenson, and it was Billy Stevenson. There was I forget the drummer, and the bass player was oh man, my brain.
We get up now at ages,
Joel Dane was one of the bass.
Yeah.
But that's how I started. From doing lounge work, I think the education you get in a lounge is the best education you can get. Because you sing so many songs a night, you keep on singing different songs. And I was working like three nights a week up there, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then I went to, then from there, I got I worked at a place called Becker Steakhouse, then Piero's for 7 years, which is one of the finest places in the restaurants in Las Vegas. I was working in a lounge there. I met some great people, Joey D'Annunzio, and some really nice people I met there. And then from the Piero's situation was like 7 years. Like I said, I worked at the Sterling Club at the same time. And then after Piero's, I'm working right now at the Italian American Club. And the Rampart Casino in the Tuscany. Tuscany Casino, where your son works. The Tuscany as well. And every week he's there on Friday nights.
It's been there now for almost 7 years.
I know.
Almost 7 years in March.
I know.
7 years is a long time.
I know, long time. That's a long time to have a gig.
He enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's a great gig.
And he's also good at it.
Yes, he is.
Some great music there.
Yes.
We have friends in our age group, but we are up there in the ages, I just celebrated my 80th birthday.
God bless you. I remember, it was at your birthday party.
That's why. Oh, you came to my party?
Yeah, it was at Kenny's gig.
Yeah, okay. Well, Kenny was inviting all his friends to come and sing for my dad. I only got 300 happy birthdays on Rita's Facebook.
Did you?
Not on mine.
300?
I don't have it. Yes. 300 and quite a lot of other things. It was unbelievable. People would come. And even today, I'm walking on the street and people comes up to me and say, "Oh, it was your 80th birthday. Happy birthday."
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Facebook. Facebook really gets the word out
Yes, it
there,
does,
you know,
it does.
and
Yeah, but
when you're in this music business, Facebook is very good. But
Oh, absolutely.
But
I can see that.
you could occupy so much of your time on that. That's ridiculous.
The only thing I don't like about it is today, some of the people are writing some stuff.
Well, it should be used just for.
It should be. Not
It became, people are getting a little political on there, but it should be just used for, I use it just for my music.
yeah, well, of course.
That's
of
all I
course.
use it for, because advertise where you're at.
I cannot see, I'm thinking about this all the time. If a person who is like you, singer, and get jobs working around town,
Right.
If you go on and comes with some nasty things, just to say it.
Oh,
I say to myself every time, don't these people understand that there may be somebody there who is also reading what you
Sure.
said, and he is the guy who employ you, right?
Right.
No, he's gonna. Oh, I'm not gonna employ this guy. Forgot this.
It's sad in a way where people cannot be on one side or the other side and just talk about it. You're exactly right. People get really offended and they take it personal.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be like that,
No,
but that's the way it is.
But anyway,
That's what it is.
you started singing at 54.
59.
Now, 50.
I wish it was 54, but I can't.
59. But do you know how to read music?
No, I don't have to read it all. I do everything by ear.
Don't be unhappy about that, because Luciano Pavarotti didn't know how to read music
Neither
either.
did Sinatra.
Yeah,
Neither did Ella Fitzgerald.
Sinatra didn't
And
know how
Ella.
to read either.
No, and Ella Fitzgerald. They didn't read.
Wow.
You could read notes, but
Yeah.
anybody can read notes. Notes is pretty easy to read. But no, they didn't. They could not read music.
Really?
Yeah. They learned as they went on. They learned a little bit more because of being in the studio, but they never could read. No.
Really?
They had great ears.
I heard Nancy Sinatra mentioning that her father would be in a music studio and learning how to sing a new song. However, he would leave at night with the music, and in the morning he would come back. He had it fantastic.
Well,
he had it. Maybe he had people come to his house.
Well, he would work with his piano player, but he had great ears. He could really hear things. He could hear a trumpet if it was off, but you figure, people like Ella and Frank, they worked so much. They were working. There was a time they were doing 7 shows a day back in New York,
Right.
and so much experience, so much learning, and they just keep on learning. But you were saying something interesting. We're talking about Sinatra. I was listening yesterday, I was watching YouTube, and Steve Wynn was talking and Paul Anka were talking, and I never knew this. This was crazy when I heard this. The studio version of My Way, which is the record, was a one take. I said, I kept running it back to hear Paul say it, Paul Anka say it, and Steve Wynn say it, that it was a one take. I says, I never heard that before.
Right.
I knew that, I think it was Summer or Wind was a one take,
Right.
which I can understand that because that's sort of a swing type of tune. And, but My Way, I said, I kept on rewinding, but it was a one take thing. But these guys, like Frank and Ella, to me, they're my 2 favorite singers, and they just had so much education, in doing it.
That's exactly it.
So there was somebody else that you were talking about who couldn't read, and I'm trying to think who it was. There was someone else that couldn't read that was very, very good. I think it was Lionel Hampton. Someone was working
Lionel
with him.
Hampton?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of my first American, he played xylophone.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it was Lionel Hampton. I said, because they did. So a friend of mine, his name is Gary Anderson, had to put a range for them.
Yeah.
It was Gary. It was Lionel Hampton and 2 other. I don't know. It was Stan Kenton or somebody else. And he said Lionel Hampton could not read.
Really?
Yeah, that blew me away.
Well, that blew me away right now.
Yeah.
You said that. I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean,
because I seen him I saw him in
Oh, he was great.
Copenhagen.
He was great.
Incredible.
One of my favorites.
And he stayed there for a long time. I think he stayed there for almost 6 months.
That's the difference with the jazz artists of the jazz artists that we grew up with compared to jazz artists today. The jazz artists when we grew up were entertaining us.
Yes.
They were not playing for themselves. No. Lionel Hampton, Ella Fitzgerald, Mel Torme, Joe Williams. You go through the whole thing. They were not, you know, they were not playing for themselves. They were entertaining you. Yeah. Where today, the jazz artists today are so much into entertaining themselves, you know? Yeah. They take solos on every song. They play a song for 12, 13 minutes, the same song, because they're into themselves. Yeah. And that's why I think that's what really hurt jazz. Lionel Hampton was a tremendous entertainer. Oh, absolutely. Maynard Fergus is a great entertainer. Yeah, right. Woody Herman.
Yes. Yeah.
Benny Goodman. Them guys were great. They entertain you. Today, the jazz artists are entertaining themselves. That's what I feel every time. And I love jazz, but you know that's what I get from it. And that's why the audience got so small.
My first years in New York, I used to go to the Village all the time, Greenwich Village, and you could find places all over. You could go from one jazz club to another.
In the 60s, right?
Yes, it was 60s.
Yeah.
Early 60s.
Yes.
Yes, and you know, for instance, I heard
in the Village.
I heard Barbara Streisand singing in one of those clubs.
Yep.
You know, had no idea
where she started,
and never remember even her name. You know, now I have seen other people, so I can't remember them all, and it was actually fascinating. But then, all of a sudden, they started closing. Right, and now I learned actually what it was, and it actually pissed me off, to be honest.
What was it?
It was that the owners of the establishment, not the club, but they owned the place, and the people who owned the club paid rent.
Right.
They found that closing up the clubs and opening up stores, that they would know, it's very interesting, there's something many people don't know. They would pay rent, but they will also pay the landlord a percentage of their take in their sales. So in other words,
there's a 10%.
They would take like 10% of their sales,
a lot of
but they still get the rent plus the 10% of sales, and everybody was making big money because at that time business was good.
Yeah, clothing stores were doing great.
Yeah, everybody, clothing store, any kind of store, you know, and I was really my best place. I can go there right now if I'm in New York, but it's no longer a jazz club.
Okay.
It is now a store.
Okay,
but the glass club, the club was you walk in and you walk down a staircase, and then you're down in the lower level, like in the basement of the building, so to speak. And there were, that was my favorite place.
Well, it's funny,
longer there.
You know, you bring that up, and it's funny. I do a song in my act where I have the band riffing behind me, they're playing, and then I start talking about New York City in 1966.
Oh yeah.
When I was a young man, young kid, I was actually underage, but I used to get into the jazz clubs, and I have my band is playing behind me, and they're doing a jazz riffs, you know, and I talk about how hip it was to walk into the jazz clubs back in the 60s, and everybody was dressed, and the sound was so great. And I would say to myself, as a kid, I said, man, I wish I could do that, what those guys were doing. And now I'm blessed I am doing it, you know? But there was nothing like those jazz clubs back in the day, man. They were so cool.
But even places like Copacabana, they closed up.
Yeah,
in the 60s.
Sure.
Yes. I remember.
Late 60s.
I was there with a date and a friend and his date, and then we learned that this was the last day.
Yeah.
And we
it was late 60s. Late 60s.
Yeah. Oh, are you crazy? What's going on here? You know. Really, and it was shocking to me, and everything disappeared. You cannot find a jazz club in New York if you try to.
Well, if you talk to a lot of jazz musicians and even people who do swing like me, they will tell you that when the Beatles started the invasion into the United States, that's when music really changed, and that's where the jazz musicians, the swing musicians, or whatever, which I think jazz and swing are basically the same, really. That's when they start losing work, because people were gravitating to the rock world. You know, you had Mick Jagger, you had the Beatles, and now people were, then country music took over, and there were so much choices. And that's what happened. And the younger people went into rock and roll, and the older people, even some of the older people, went to rock and roll. And the audience got so small for people of jazz, the jazz world. Right now, I think the American Songbook. If you're singing the American Songbook, you'll be singing the American Songbook now, and you'll be singing this American Songbook 100 years from now. I don't think that'll ever, because the greatest writing of music is the American Songbook. It's our music. It's our music, and it's actually not appreciated enough by Americans. It's appreciated more by Europeans. Jazz and swing is bigger in Europe than it is in America. But the American Songbook is like Cole Porter and Gershwin. Even though all those were Europeans who wrote that, think about it. Gershwin, they were all born in Europe,
the biggest guy, what was his name?
Gershwin, Porter, Cole Porter?
No.
Irving Berlin?
Irving Berlin. He was one of them, and there was another one who the guy who did Oklahoma Showboat. And that was Kern. And another guy.
Then there was Rodgers and Hart.
Rodgers and Hart.
Man, these guys.
Like South Pacific. You
Yeah.
listen to South Pacific. What kind of music?
Oh, it's fantastic. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I believe exposure is what it's about with music. And I always said this. If which won't happen, but if the schools would expose kids to Sinatra, Ella, Stan Kenton, Benny Goodman, if they would expose that music as a course in school, maybe like an hour a week, introducing to the American Songbook, an hour a week, an introduction, I think it would help keep the culture going, because it's just exposure. Most people, because they don't listen. If they would listen, they would feel the beat. They would feel it, But they're not exposed to it. You know what I mean? And they're not allowed to be exposed to it, because the money isn't in the current music, and that's where the money's at.
My big brother, he would get on a boat and sail from Copenhagen to Sweden and buy Elvis Presley records.
Wow.
My brother had a collection of Elvis Presley records.
Isn't that
It was so big, and he listened to it. He was mesmerized. There was nobody but Elvis Presley. But there were all people traveling from Copenhagen to Sweden to buy those kind of records, because you couldn't buy them in Denmark. It was impossible.
Wow.
Every time I went to Germany a lot, I would buy records in Germany and bring them back home, because we couldn't buy them in Denmark. It's sort of sad, but it's like, you think about a country like Sweden, that was what you call a dry country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
You cannot buy alcohol.
Right.
No beers, there's nothing, they don't have anything. And all of the Swedes every weekend would be traveling to Copenhagen and get drunk and all the kind of thing. But that's crazy when you have things like that. It's
it is. Well, that's what that's why I'm not, communist and socialism.
Communism, forget about it. We lived right next to Russia. Denmark is right there. And they had something called, like America had Radio Free Europe.
I gotta interrupt you though, because you went to college, and you didn't have to pay. Who paid? Taxes.
The government.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah.
The government.
So that's what I'm saying. Somebody's paying, man.
Or at that time, they probably paid 65% of the income in taxes.
Nothing
Now they
for
pay
no-
95.
There's nothing for nothing.
But I still had to, and I had to rent. I rented a room with this old lady, you know, and it was nice, but unpleasant. I remember sleeping, and my door, for some reason, had opened during the night. And my landlady was standing, this old lady was standing in the doorway, looking at me lying in my pajamas. It's a good thing I wasn't sleeping naked, you know, but I was in my pajamas. And she's standing looking at me in the doorway. I was absolutely livid. You know, getting out of bed, it was a Sunday morning, I slammed the door right in her face, you know, but that's what you are subject to, something like that. Housing, for instance, in Denmark, you know, during the Second World War, we were occupied by the Nazis. No houses was built, but people were not having anything to do at night. So what did they do? They made babies, right? You know, they were having sex, you know, and so when the war was
a lot of editing on this.
they were, no, that's not, you know. You know, you were talking about editing, right?
Yeah.
In Denmark, when I was a child, 14 years old, 13 years old, I could not find a girl my age that was a virgin.
Oh, Joey, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to do.
No, that's not, but that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
We used to say, we used to say that even you can't find anybody, even the priest's daughter will not be a virgin.
In Denmark?
Yeah. I can tell you stories about my upbringing, upbringing by my parents.
So maybe socialism is okay.
No. They have always been like that.
I know.
Denmark, Sweden, and Norway have always been like that, you know. And sex, you know, it's a natural thing. I can tell you this.
Please do.
We came to Denmark, Rita and I, and again, Rita is watching the news, and she's screaming, Kurt, come here.
In Denmark?
Yeah, in Denmark, in Copenhagen, in my brother's house.
You're with Rita?
Yeah, Rita's with me.
You're married then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're married. Anyway, she's screaming at me, come in here, you gotta see
Because you
this."
met Rita in New York?
Yeah,
okay,
New York.
now you're back in Denmark.
Yeah, we've been, you know, I used to go to Denmark a lot.
Okay.
To see my family.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's screaming at me, you gotta come and see this. So I'm running into the living room, and on television, in color, on television, there is two young people coming in. They are about maybe 14, 15 years old.
This is on TV?
On TV.
Is it a movie?
No. It was something that we're using in between the next program to fill in before the next program, right?
Okay.
And it is two young people coming into a room, getting undressed, jumping into bed and have sex on television. On television. That's how it is.
Really?
It's always been like that in Denmark.
Wow.
Danish,
beats commercials.
The Danish film industry is making lots of movies, but they can be shown out of Denmark, not because they don't want them to, but because the countries don't want them, because they are full of sex.
Oh, so they make them there and they ship them out?
No, they can't. They can't. They can only show the movies in Denmark because no other countries will buy their movies.
No kidding.
You've never seen a Danish movie here, have you?
No.
That's right.
Wow.
Do you know they make a lot?
No.
They're almost as big as Hollywood.
No kidding.
Oh, they make hundreds a year, every year. And they're very good. They're actually very good movies, I can tell you that. But there's a lot of sex.
Yeah.
Oh, so much that there will be, if they're censored, there won't be anything. They can only show the credits. Right. That's it, you know.
So speaking of music.
Yeah. going back to music. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sex and music today, I guess.
There is.
Videos, you know.
Yeah.
But so, it's just been fun talking to you, man. You're very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I think it was nice of you to come here.
It was a great conversation.
And I think we did more than an hour.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Is that it, guys?
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
It was my pleasure, sir. Let me get up here. It was my pleasure.
It was very nice.
Okay.
Well, sit back. You gotta say.
Okay, Kurt Davidsen. Okay.
Okay. It was my pleasure.
My pleasure. Okay.
Okay.
You got it right.
Is it okay? It's okay.
Okay with Kurt Davidsen.
Okay with Kurt Davidsen. Should we do it again? It was nice to have you too. Okay with Kurt Davidsen. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta try it. I want to write the second okay, different than the first okay. You see, okay, and then okay. That's a question mark, right? So now we just have to see when we get it on TV or radio, right on TV.